Kurt Bardella is a former spokesman for Breitbart News who recently left the Republican Party and joined the Democratic Party. Kurt, you know Steve Bannon really well. The president says he's lost his mind. Has he?
Well, we the crazy calling each other crazy right now. I think the thing to remember is back in August when Steve left the White House, he said publicly, the presidency that we fought and won for is over. And if you pay attention to what Steve has been saying, it's not that far off that we've gotten to this point where they're at war with one another. Trump is right that Steve is all about himself. He's all about advancing his own agenda. He uses the platform of Breitbart to prop himself up, to be the propaganda vehicle, really to advance the brand of Steve Bannon. On the flip side of it, Bannon, he doesn't have loyalty to anybody. He is liberated. He is free. He can do and say whatever he wants. He has a daily platform to espouse the direction he thinks this administration should go. And really, he has his platform to weaponize and sell scores, which is a lot of what sounds like happened here, was him selling scores against Jared Kushner and Trump Jr., whom he's been at war with since he joined the Trump campaign.
Well, yeah, given that he has there's no love lost between Steve Bannon and Jared Kushner and Ivanka, and we've known that for some time. People in Bannon's world will call reporters and try to denigrate Ivanka and Jared often, and will try to do so by saying they're doing this or they're doing that. It happens. That's a reality. Given that, does that eat into Bannon's credibility within a number of the things that are coming out of this book right now?
I think that Bannon's making the calculation that he'll outlast his detractors, that he'll even outlast perhaps the president. He clearly believes that there's some real significant jeopardy, as he alludes to in the book, that the Mueller investigation poses to Trump and his presidency. He talks about it being basically a Category 5 hurricane coming at them, and they don't seem to recognize that, or their public posture certainly doesn't seem to recognize the severity of it. So I think that Steve is speaking so brazenly because he thinks he's going to outlast all of these guys.
Why did he stay in the administration if he thought that meeting was treasonous?
Well, I think that Steve also realized that it was good for him, good for his proximity to power, good for his public standing, the idea of building this influence.
What does that say about the administration, that you have a bunch of folks in there who are just there because it's good for them, it's good for their proximity to power, and I guess don't really want to blow the whistle on something that they believe is treasonous? Who's in the White House?
Well, I think that it tells you, you get your cues from the top. And ultimately, this is a president who has zero credibility. This is a president who's given more than almost 2,000 false statements in less than a year. So I think people take their cues from leadership. And when they see that this president doesn't care about truth or fact, it gives license to everyone below them to operate under their own agenda and not worry about the greater good or serving the country.
A note on that in Chapter 3, and I can't read all of this on air because I'd get fired, but there is a quote from Sean Spicer. Donald Trump did not give an F about being factual. That's regarding that first news conference or first briefing where Sean Spicer came out and talked about the inauguration crowd size. Former spokesman for Breitbart News, Kurt Bardella. Kurt, thanks so much.
Thanks, Katie.